Friends, there's an ongoing inside joke between me and my fiance. She's a little bit on the smaller side, and every now and then she'll interact with an inanimate object like trying to open a jar or some other object, and she'll pinch her finger or get a little bit hurt. It happens quite often, and I always make this joke where she's getting beat up by inanimate objects. Poor little girl. Now obviously it's all just in jest, we have fun doing it, but today the inanimate object joke leaves my relationship or my family and becomes relevant in the presidential election. Not even kidding. Joe Biden's entire political messaging campaign, particularly relating to the economy, the whole Bidenomics shtick that clearly hasn't landed well with voters who have 2 working brain cells, just completely fell apart thanks to an inanimate object in the background of Joe Biden's little campaign stop. In other words, an inanimate object just BTFO'd Joe Biden's political campaign. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so here's the headline. Joe Biden's stop at a cookout restaurant in Raleigh, North Carolina backfires after state senator points out shocking change to menu prices in just 3 years. Here's Joe Biden's campaign stop in North Carolina as he stops to order milkshakes at the cookout restaurant. Just a regular routine stop. Joe Biden taking selfies with voters. A beautiful day. Joe Biden saving America one stop at a time, thanks to his great knowledge, great experience, and the great success of Bidenomics. Except, not really. Nobody seems to be interested in Joe Biden's campaign stop. It seems as though people are more interested in the sign behind him. Let's go ahead and zoom in and enhance. As you can see, it says choose one for junior tray, or choose one for a tray. The junior tray is $6.59. The regular tray is $7.69. Why is that a big deal, you ask? Well, it's a big deal because 3 years ago, Joe Biden made that same stop at the same restaurant in North Carolina, and well, the difference was frankly shocking. Senator Burger Press Shop posted these 2 photos along with this tweet. Thanks to hashtag Bidenomics, a cookout tray cost 28% more than it did 3 years ago when Biden had his previous photo op. Well, would you look at that? Joe Biden kept telling us that he's single-handedly winning the war on inflation thanks to his incredible policies. He keeps telling us that prices are coming down, folks. We're doing such a good job. We're real focused on reducing prices for Americans. And of course, he only says that when inflation ticks down on a month-to-month or year-to-year basis. All of a sudden, Joe Biden controls prices with his magic wand whenever the news is good, but whenever the news is bad, well, we know how the narrative shifts, right? Joe Biden doesn't control gas prices, Karine Jean-Pierre told us. So he controls the prices when they're good, but he doesn't control the prices when they're bad. And he's reducing prices, and Bidenomics is working when a basic meal over the last 3 years of his term costs nearly 30% more at the local cookout shop. What an utter embarrassment. His entire political messaging campaign gets BTFO'd by an inanimate object behind him. You know, for the most part, I don't really like photo ops. But if this is the future of photo ops, absolutely fantastic. Next, let's have Joe Biden take a photo in front of the Rio Grande border crossing. Sounds good to me. Let's not clear the streets of El Paso this time and have Joe Biden take a picture on the street right in the center, in the core of the border crisis, so people can finally see reality. Let's have Joe Biden travel to California to post up in front of a gas station that's marked $6 or more a gallon, so people can see the reality of his policies. This absolute clown, I swear. How the Biden administration is constantly just going with the wind. You know, as I was mentioning earlier, Joe Biden took multiple victory laps recently, supposedly bringing down inflation as if the war against inflation was over. Yeah, that happened in the summer of 2023. Remember when this 3% number came out, right? Inflation is down. Bidenomics is working. Then what was it the next 1, 2, 3 months as we ticked from 3 to 3.2 to 3.7 2 months consecutively? All of a sudden, the whole Bidenomics, Joe Biden beat inflation narrative disappeared. Then the next month, ticked back down to 3.2, then 3.1. Then all of a sudden, Joe Biden, Bidenomics, let's go. And now, of course, last month, the number ticked back up to 3.4%. Not exactly what people wanted to see. And Joe Biden goes frickin' MIA, only to get exposed by a price board. And boy, does that price board put it all into perspective. It shows the general damage that's been done. I've heard some Democrats attempt to make the argument that actually food prices aren't that bad. It's just eggs and bacon, you MAGA chud. That's what people tend to say, right? But here are just general prices at a restaurant serving all kinds of different food products, and you see the compounding effect. That's the issue with inflation. Too often people focus on a singular number, a year-over-year number, or a month-over-month number, but what they don't seem to understand is that inflation is compounding. Every month compounding on the last. A 1% increase here, a 2% increase here, a 3% increase there. And there you have it, a 28% increase in the cost of feeding yourself over the last 3 years, but really over the last 2 years since the inflation crisis started. That's roughly 15% a year. You know, you'd be doing jumping jacks and somersaults and frickin' 360s. You'd be backflipping into the pool if your stock portfolio was going up 15%, but no, that isn't the reality under Joe Biden. You're essentially getting 15% poorer on a yearly basis, especially relating to the costs that actually matter. People love to cherry pick their data. Oh well, food cost is going up, but costs in other areas are going down. Yeah, I don't know if the political pundits and media clowns understand this, but for the average person, the cost of gas, the cost of travel, the cost of energy for their home, the cost of food, and of course the cost of financing kind of makes up for the totality of their expenses. You're paying 30 to 50% more on all of those costs? Oh well, that sucks. Well, look on the bright side. Have you paid attention to the used luxury watches market? The price of Rolexes are down 15%. Absolute out-of-touch clowns. You know, right back, I guess, to the point of the video, or the framing of the video, Joe Biden's entire Bidenomics scam gets BTFO'd by an inanimate object, and that wasn't the only inanimate object to embarrass the Bidens over the last 2 days. Joe Biden's wife, Jill Biden, the fake doctor, is also on the campaign trail, visiting a high school in West Valley City, located in a suburb of Salt Lake City, Utah. And then, well, the high school's name? Hunter High School. You might see where this is going. Thanks to this unfortunate camera angle, this is what the people saw. Well, apparently the students there and Jill Biden love Hunter High. Even the frickin' podium, from what was visible on the camera, just said Hunter High. You can't make this stuff up. The Bidens are so unpopular that even lifeless, inanimate objects seem to be campaigning against them. We're gonna finish this video here and play 2 clips. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Hunter!